This is also a very common problem in our routine clinical practice, and patients come at a very different stages of the disease, and sometimes we have a dilemma, what treatment options should we go for. So we'll try to solve this. Avian of the lunate was first described in 1843 by Pest, and Robert Keinblock was a radiologist who described changes associated with lunatomalacia. Generally, when these patients present to us, they present with wrist pain, stiffness, and significant decrease in grip strength. And there may or may not be history of trauma, but some patients correlate these things with the trauma. And on examination, there is swelling and tenderness on dorsal central part of the wrist. It may, mostly due to synovitis. And diagnosis is mainly by X-rays. So Professor Lichman has classified this condition into 4 stages. In stage 1, X-ray will be normal, but changes can be picked up only on MRI. In stage 2, there will be sclerosis of the lunate, but lunate architecture is well maintained. There may or may not be fractures associated with this. Stage 3 is a stage of fragmentation and collapse. In this stage, in stage 3A, there will not be collapse, but in stage 3B, there is proximal migration of the capitate, and due to this, radioscapoid angle increases. We'll see this later on. And last stage is the stage 4, where there is mid-carpal joint arthritis. So X-ray, this is a very important tool for this condition, particularly for diagnosis of this condition and staging of the condition, number 1. Second, we have to see DRUJ variance, whether there is a neutral ulnar variance, negative ulnar variance, or positive ulnar variance, because our treatment depends on all these things. Role of MRI is it is a very good tool and very sensitive tool for picking up the vascular changes of the lunate. And CT scan role is very limited, particularly in some cases of stage 3B, when we have to see associated fractures and all. So most important question, do we have to treat all Keinblock patients? So the answer is yes, because the disease progresses. But yes, we have to keep a watch clinically also. And management is basically according to stages of the Lichman's classification. So the main principles in the management are revascularization of the necrotic lunate and unloading of the lunate, and some salvage procedures when the lunate is not reconstructable. So when the patient presented to us in stage 1, we give conservative treatment with cast and splint for 3 months. But even after giving this treatment for 3 months, patient do not have any symptomatic relief. And if there is radiological progression of the disease, then we should consider lunate unloading and revascularization. Stage 2 and stage 3A of the Keinblock disease, here goal is revascularization of the lunate and unloading of the lunate. So for revascularization, the procedures available are vascularized bone grafting and core decompression of the distal radius, and a lot of other procedures, but I am not mentioning it due to lack of time. So next we have to see status of the ulnar variance, whether there is a negative ulnar variance or neutral and positive ulnar variance. In case of negative ulnar variance, we can do joint leveling procedures such as radial shortening osteotomy and ulnar lengthening. A word about radial shortening osteotomy, 2 to 3 mm is considered as optimal shortening. And if we do more shortening, then patient may complain of pain on ulnar side of the wrist. So this gentleman had a stage 2 of the Keinblock disease. So here we did radial shortening, and it produces the load on lunate by 70%, and range of movement is not affected since it is an extra articular procedure. We generally do this osteotomy at the diaphysis region, and we put 3 screws distally and 3 screws proximally. Though there are a lot of procedures described such as osteotomy at the metaphyseal level also. So the same patient, 1.5 year follow-up, osteotomy site has healed nicely, and this patient had a very symptomatic good relief Another procedure for this group of patients is vascularized bone graft. So this is the example of 4-5 extensor compartmental artery vascularized bone graft. So here we can see that this is the lunate, this is the distal radius, and we take graft from distal radius. And this is the 4th extensor compartmental artery, this is 5th extensor compartmental artery, and this is a combined pedicle, and we have to put this bone graft into the lunate, and proximally we have to ligate the anterior introosseous artery. So there are some papers who say that if we combine this procedure, then we get good results. So generally we combine the procedure. So this we'll see this example. This patient had a stage 3A of the Keinblock disease. So for this patient, we considered both combined procedure, vascularized bone grafting with 4-5 extensor compartmental artery graft and joint leveling by radial shortening osteotomy. So here, this is, I was saying, this is the graft from the lower end of radius, and this is 4th ACA, this is 5th ACA, and this is a combined pedicle, and this is the lunate. It was curated on the dorsal side, and here we have to put this graft. And in the same patient, we did radial shortening also by doing osteotomy. And the same patient, 2-year follow-up, the osteotomy site has healed nicely, and he has got reasonably good range of movement at the wrist joint. He is totally symptom-free and gone back to his original work. Now we see patients of stage 2 and stage 3A when there is a neutral and positive ulnar variance. So in such cases, we can do capitate shortening osteotomy. There is enough evidence to suggest that after this osteotomy, there is revascularization of the lunate. But though personally, I don't have any experience of this procedure. So now moving forward, when we come to stage 3, we have to differentiate between stage 3A and stage 3B. So here we have to see the radioscaphoid angle. So what happens in the Keinblock disease, there is proximal migration of the capitate, and due to this, the scaphoid goes into flexion. And due to all these things, the radioscaphoid angle is increased. So here we can see in AP view, this is called as cortical ring sign, which we can see on AP view of the X-ray. So if we see this, then certainly the patient is having stage 3B problem. So now in this stage, our goal is stabilization of the carpus, preventing further collapse, and decrease the load across the radiolunate joint. The available options are we can do proximal row carpectomy and limited carpal fusions such as STT arthrodesis and scaphocapitate arthrodesis. So according to the evidence available, after doing scaphocapitate arthrodesis and STT arthrodesis, there is significant loss of range of movement. And the studies say that the result of proximal row carpectomy are better than the limited carpal fusion. And it is a simple procedure also. So we routinely do this procedure only. So we'll see by example, this patient had stage 3B Keinblock disease. And for this, we did proximal row carpectomy. This is a procedure where we remove scaphoid, lunate, and triquetrum of the patient, and the head of the capitate articulate with the lunate fossa of the radius. And dorsally, we have to repair the radiocarpal ligaments. And the same patient, she has got a reasonably good range of movement and pain-free, no symptoms. And stage 4, we left with only option of wrist arthrodesis. So our protocol is for stage 1, we go with conservative treatment, and for stage 2 and stage 3A, when there is ulna minus, we do vascularized bone grafting and radial shortening. And when there is ulna plus, I will certainly consider doing capitate shortening osteotomy along with vascularized bone graft. And in stage 3B, proximal row carpectomy, and in stage 4, wrist arthrodesis. Thank you very much.